Hello, everyone. My name is Sanjay Majumder, and I'm here to present our work on adaptive multi-channel arrays. In the world of spatial audio, we spend a massive amount of time designing pristine algorithm to place sound object exactly where we want them. But the moment we take those algorithm out of the lab and put them in the real world venues, we see that the acoustic environment start fighting back. Today, I'm going to share a closed loop framework we developed that stops fighting the room and start listening to it. So by using continuous acoustic feedback, we have created a sound diffusion system that operates as an autonomous self-correcting process. So within the few next slide, I will walk you through the problem with the static diffusion system, the math behind our adaptive engine, and the physical result we achieved in the lab. Let's start with the core problem here. Traditional spatialization method like vector-based amplitude panning or higher order ambisonics, they are incredibly powerful. However, they rely on fixed gain structure. They assume that the loudspeaker are perfectly equidistant. The room has no problematic reflection, or the audience is sitting in a perfectly symmetrical sweet spot. But we know that realistic listening conditions really look like this. So when we deploy this static system in a real world scenario, we immediately encounter asymmetric speaker placement, audience absorption, and multipath reflection. So basically what happens here perceptually? The spatial uniformity collapses, the energy balance becomes skewed, and the localization accuracy degrades. Also, this beautiful immersive sound turns into a highly correlated localized point source. So here our hypothesis is very simple. If the room acoustics are dynamic and variable, our diffusion system cannot be static. Our proposed solution is to the closed loop solution. Instead of simply pushing audio out of the speaker and hoping that the audience will get listen to the best audio, our framework continuously monitored the room response to dynamically correct spatial audio errors. We designed a flexible array utilizing 8 loudspeakers. These loudspeakers are generic loudspeakers. And to listen to the room, we distributed 4 brass omnidirectional measurement microphones across the primary listening zones. Crucially, to capture the objective psychoacoustic data, we placed a head and torso simulator, also known as heads, at the listener position. This head is HEMR made by the brass. Rather than relying on rigid geometry simulation, this hardware setup allow us to capture the actual physical acoustic field. So we are measuring short-term energy levels, interchannel coherence, and binaural time of arrival difference in real time. So if the room alters the sound, the system will hear it and immediately begin to recalculate. So here is how that hardware translates into a software architecture. The entire framework is built on a custom digital signal processing module running in Python. We built this natively on Mac OS, utilizing core audio to ensure a highly stable, low latency multi-channel callback without the need for any third-party drivers. So basically, the architecture is split into two primary threads operating in 100 millisecond blocks. First, the feedback analysis engine continuously buffers the audio from the room. Then it calculates the spatial matrix from the microphone and from the heads. Second, the adaptive controller takes these matrices and synchronously updates the part channel gains and delays. We specifically choose a 100 millisecond window because it perfectly balances the computational latency with enough temporal resolution to make smooth, inaudible adjustment to the sound field. We also try 25, 50, 75 millisecond window, but they didn't give us a better result. Next, to drive this controller, we rely on three specific spatial matrices. First is the spatial uniformity index, denoted as U. To ensure mathematical stability, we utilize a fractional model based on the coefficient of variation. So a higher U means the acoustic energy is perfectly balanced across the listening area. Second is the interchannel coherence, also denoted as gamma. We calculate the cross-spectral density between the microphone channels, but we strictly limit this calculation to the frequency above 200 kilohertz. This acts as a guardrail to the system so that it doesn't confuse with the low frequency room modes for spatial correlation. Finally, we measure localization error or theta error. This is where the heads comes into play. It captures the interaural cues to determine where the acoustic focal point actually is and compares this to where the diffuse center is supposed to be. So this gives us our objective angular error. Next, this brings us to the core innovation of our paper, which we call dynamic error scaling. In a standard adaptive system, you might slowly adjust the volume to balance the room, but the volume alone cannot fix the collapsed sound field. So we need to also manage the time and phase. So you use the objective error measured by the heads to actively scale our delay adaptation speed. So if the heads detect a high localization error, meaning the listener is perceiving a harsh localized point source, the system aggressively scales up gamma. So it physically pushes the loudspeaker signal further apart in time using a generalized cross correlation. It also aggressively decorrelates the audio until the localized point source blurs back into a wide immersive diffuse field. So once this error drops, the system stabilizes and back into the normal action. To validate this, we took this system into the lab. We used a medium-sized room of roughly 6 by 5 by 3 meters with a moderate reverberation time of 0.45 seconds to simulate a typical slightly reflective performance venue and installation space. For this test, we didn't just use the lab signals. We ensured that the system is robust. So we evaluated it against the three highly distinct audio profiles. First one is a transient multi-track music mix. Second is dynamic human speech. We have the recorded Harvard sentences. And finally, the broadband ping noise. For each profile, we ran the system over continued 20-second measurement window. So this allowed us to observe the system steady state performance and ensures that our smoothing filter are preventing any audible artifacts like pitch wobbling or volume pumping. So our first major finding is these systems remarkable stability across those diverse acoustic profile. As you can see from the table, regardless of whether we are playing a transient drum or steady ping noise, the system locked the spatial uniformity at roughly 0.506. So in this specific room geometry, excuse me, sorry. This specific room geometry, a uniformity of 0.5 indices that the standard deviation of energy is perfectly balanced with the mean energy. More importantly, if you look at the bottom row, when we actively introduced a 40-degree localization error during the music playback, the system reacted exactly as intended. The active delay engine kicked in, suppressing the coherence down to 0.277. So it successfully forced the sound field to decorrelate the spatial inaccuracy. The true test, however, is like comparing our closed loop system directly against a traditional static diffusion setup. From this table, it highlights the objective improvements. So by allowing the system to autonomously control its gain, we saw the spatial uniformity increase by 22.8% over an uncompensated room. By allowing the system to autonomously control its own delays, we reduced interchannel coherence by 28.2%, which significantly widening the perceived soundstage. Ultimately, this correction translated to the binaural experience. Data captured from the heads confirmed that our adaptive framework reduced localization error by a massive 44%. So we effectively erased the room's negative impact on the spatial image. In conclusion, this research demonstrates that treating a room as an active variable rather than an obstacle, which yields a profound improvement in spatial audio. So by closing the loop with acoustic feedback, we can transform any multi-channel array into an autonomous self-correcting environment. Looking forward, we see immense potential in scaling this framework. We plan to integrate this with higher order Ambisonics, and we are exploring real-time head tracking for dynamic VR environment, where the sweet spot moves with the user. Along with that, we are also investigating deep learning controllers to handle more complex non-linear spectral corrections. So thank you for your time, and I'd be happy to answer any question.